Welcome to X Confessions Unlocked, where X secrets spill, revenge gets served, and sometimes X's come crawling back. Subscribe now for real, unfiltered stories about love gone wrong, and sometimes very right. Drop a comment with your X drama. Yours could be next.
I had to confess, or so I thought, my biggest confession to my ex-husband. The kitchen smelled like burnt chicken. I had tried to cook dinner like everything was normal, but I ruined it. Just like I ruined everything else. Elijah sat across from me at our dining table. The same table where we used to laugh and talk about our future. Now, the silence between us was so loud it hurt. "Say it again," he said quietly. My hands shook. "I cheated on you, again." Elijah didn't move. Didn't yell. Just looked at me with eyes that used to love me but now only showed pain. "We're done," he said. 2 words. That's all it took to break 5 years of marriage. But then he added, "And this time, your tears won't fix it." 5 years ago, I was just Lena, a regular girl who didn't believe in love stories. Then I met Elijah at a party. I was hiding by the drinks table when a deep voice said, "You look as happy to be here as a cat in a bathtub." I turned and saw him. Tall, dark hair, eyes that made my stomach flip. "Is it that obvious?" I asked. "Only to people who also hate parties," he smiled. "I'm Elijah." We talked all night while everyone else took selfies. He was an architect who loved old music and bad jokes. I gave him my number before leaving. Our first date was at a small Italian place. He told me about growing up poor, working hard to go to college, and calling his grandma every Sunday. I told him about my crazy family and how I always messed up relationships. "Good thing I don't give up easy," he said, holding my hand. 6 months later, he proposed on his balcony with a simple ring. "I want you forever," he said. I said yes. Our first 2 years were perfect. We traveled, fought about laundry, and always made up before bed. Then I met Damon at work. Charming. Funny. Always knew what to say. At first it was just coffee breaks. Then drinks after work. Then texts that felt wrong but exciting. One night, after too many drinks, I cheated. The guilt ate me alive. After a week, I told Elijah everything, crying like a baby. I thought he'd leave me. Instead he held me and said, "I hate what you did, but I love you more." We went to counseling. We fixed things. I promised I'd never hurt him again. But I did. This time it was Jared, an old friend. Just catching up, I told myself. Until one night, it wasn't just talking anymore. I thought Elijah would never know. I was wrong. He saw the texts. Now here we were. "Pack your bags," Elijah said calmly. "I want you gone tonight." I opened my mouth to beg. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Elijah opened it. There stood my parents, my sister, and my best friend. "Elijah?" My mom asked. "What's wrong?" He turned to me with cold eyes. "Tell them, Lena." My mother's confused face. My sister's raised eyebrows. My best friend Myra's slowly dawning horror as she took in the scene, me red-eyed at the table, Elijah standing like a stone statue, our marriage crumbling between us. "Lena?" My father asked, stepping inside. "What's going on?" Elijah crossed his arms. "Your daughter has something to tell you all." The air turned thick enough to choke on. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. "How do you tell the people who love you most that you're the villain in your own story?" Mira rushed to my side. "Lena, breathe. Just say it." So I did. I cheated on Elijah. Twice. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father's face went dark. My sister, always my defender, took a step back like I'd slapped her. But the worst part? Elijah wasn't done. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. "Actually, let me show you." Before I could react, he tapped his screen. My own voice filled the room, a recording from last week. "Jared, stop, we can't do this again." "Come on, Lena, you know you want to." "Elijah will." "Elijah will never know." The recording cut off with the sound of kissing. I felt sick. You recorded me?" Elijah's smile was ice. "Security cameras, Lena. Our bedroom isn't just for sleeping." Chaos erupted. My mother burst into tears. My father lunged at Elijah before my sister pulled him back. Mira just stared at me like I'd grown a second head. "But Elijah?" He stayed perfectly calm. "Before anyone gets too angry," he said, "you should know, Lena wasn't the only one keeping secrets." He pulled out divorce papers from the coffee table drawer. Already signed. Dated, 3 months ago. My blood ran cold. What is this? Our divorce, Elijah said. I filed it after the first time you cheated. I just waited to see if you'd do it again. The room spun. You never forgave me? Elijah leaned in close, his whisper only for me. I just wanted to see how far you'd go. Then came the knock at the door. Elijah opened it to reveal Damon and Jared, standing together. Right on time, Elijah said. My stomach dropped. You know each other? Jared smirked. Elijah hired me to test you. Damon nodded. Paid real well too. I stumbled back. This whole time. Elijah's voice cut through my panic. Happy anniversary, Lena. My knees buckled as the truth hit me like a freight train. Damon and Jared, both working for Elijah. The cheating. The recordings. The divorce papers signed months ago. It had all been one elaborate trap, and I'd walked right into it with my eyes wide open. You set me up? My voice sounded foreign, broken. Elijah's smile didn't reach his eyes. I gave you a second chance. You chose to stab me in the back again. The apartment suddenly felt like a prison. My family stood frozen in shock while Damon and Jared lounged against my furniture like they owned the place. Mira was the first to find her voice. Elijah, this is insane. You can't. Oh, it gets better, Elijah interrupted, pulling out his phone again. With a few taps, our living room TV screen lit up with security footage. There I was 3 weeks ago, letting Jared into our bedroom. There I was 2 months ago, whispering with Damon in a hotel bar. But the worst clip? Last night. Me deleting texts. Me crying to Mira about how Elijah would never understand me. Myra's face went pale. Lena, you told me you'd stopped. Elijah turned to my father. Mr. Jackson, you once told me to protect your daughter. But who protects me from her? My father, normally so composed, looked at me with something worse than anger, disappointment. How could you? Before I could answer, Elijah dropped his final bomb. He opened a folder and spread photos across our dining table, the same table where we'd shared anniversary dinners and birthday cakes. Pictures of me. With Damon. With Jared. Time-stamped. Detailed. Impossible to deny. But the most damning one? A screenshot of my bank account, showing regular deposits from an unknown source over the past 6 months. You were paying them to sleep with me? I whispered. Elijah laughed, a cold, hollow sound. No, Lena. You were paying me. The room spun as he explained. The prenup I'd signed gave Elijah everything in case of infidelity. The private investigator he'd hired after my first affair. The hidden clauses in our mortgage and investments. And the final twist, our apartment? Never in my name. The bank account? Monitored. Even my car was leased under his company. You've been homeless since the first time you cheated, Elijah said calmly. I just let you keep playing house. A knock at the door. 2 police officers stood there. Lena Jackson, one asked. I nodded, numb. We have a warrant for your arrest. Embezzlement and fraud. Elijah held up documents showing transfers from his business accounts to mine, all forged with my signature. You framed me. I choked out. He leaned close, his breath hot against my ear. No, Lena. I just finally played your game better than you did. The divorce was finalized in my absence. My family disowned me. Mira testified against me. And Elijah? I saw him once more, through the glass of the prison visitation room. He came to show me pictures of his new life. His new wife. The baby on the way. As he stood to leave, he paused. Was it worth it? I had no answer. Because the truth was simple. I'd lost everything. And I brought all that to myself.